If you go to the northwestern part of the Catamount Community Forest, you'll see a lot of trees that have marked to be cut. This is part of a project called Adaptive Silviculture for Climate Change, where we will be doing some forest management in summer and fall 2023 to help this area, the Catamount Community Forest, become a little bit more diverse, a little bit more resilient in the face of climate change. And if you come out to this area, you might say, why would we want to manage this forest? This area is already beautiful. This is already a forest that I really like to ride my bike in or to ski in. And the reason is that as ancient and as pristine as this forest feels, it's an example of an incredibly altered ecosystem, which is really young and really simple and really bears little resemblance to the forest that might have been here just a few hundred years ago. Like many forests across Vermont, the forest behind me has been a pasture in the last 100 years, and it was likely a pasture for about a century. The trees that are here now are the generation of white pine. White pine is really good at growing in fields, so you often see them as the first generation following pasture abandonment. White pine that grew through that sod out of that abandoned pasture once it stopped being mowed or grazed. In general, this story is representative of so many of our forests. So the vast majority of Vermont's forests are 60 to 100 years old. The vast majority of them are what we call even age. Our remnant old growth forests show us that old growth forests in general have some big trees, but are also multi-generational, with many different sizes and ages of trees across a given site. The other feature that our relatively young forests are missing is dead wood. Dead wood is just this really important component of forest ecology, and as a result of almost our entire state being cleared and pastured at some point in time, we don't have that on our landscape, and with it we also don't have the carbon benefits, the hydrologic benefits, and the wildlife habitat benefits that dead wood provides. In addition to providing wood, which is a local renewable resource, which is something we really need more of, forest management can really help forests become more like the diverse old forests that were here a few hundred years ago, centuries sooner than that would happen naturally. Here at the Catamount Community Forest, we'll be doing just that in this first area. So we will be harvesting individual trees, including some large trees. We'll be harvesting groups of trees. So if you see a bunch of trees marked to be cut together, we're trying to simulate a small-scale wind microburst, which might knock over not just one tree, but a whole little pocket of trees. And we'll be retaining lots of different trees of lots of different species, including some trees that are legacy trees. So these are the trees that are going to be here forever. They're not going to be cut later. They're never going to be cut. And the goal of these is to provide the benefits that we see in older forests of old trees as they naturally decline. So this forest is an example not of an endpoint, not of a place that we want to reach because it's so beautiful and because there's lots of big trees, but it's really just a place to begin. The really interesting features of this forest, when it will really become rich with life, resilient, adaptive, and beautiful, will be as it changes into something else.